My name is Stu Jeffries from Stu and Colleen at 97.3 Easy Rock. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome Victoria Rowell.
I think what I want to do is to read to you a bit out of my book, The Women Who Raised Me, which is really a book that profiles and outlines incredible mentors in my life. Some of us aren't meant to have one mother. Some of us are meant to have many mothers. And that certainly is my experience. This is about a place that I lived in Roxbury. It was a projects. And it goes something like this. Welcome to Grant Manor Projects, the area where Agatha's brownstone, she was my first foster mother, stood on Burrell Street, was older and more run down compared to the newer Grant Manor projects where the Turners lived in Roxbury, but in a neighborhood and household scarred by the ravages of heroin and alcohol addiction, domestic violence, poverty, vets, and post-traumatic stress disorder, all ratcheted up by the fury over busing. This was the more sophisticated version of the era's notorious Orchard Park projects without an apple tree in sight. My new address on Northampton Avenue could have been said to be the Harvard of the Hood. It was a springboard to my future beyond my term as a ward of the state that would teach me about survival in the real world and then some. At first blush, it was easy to observe that Rosa, true to her name as a stunning flower among the thorns, seemed not to belong in such a setting, but on further observation it was apparent that her radiant presence had been earthbound on purpose, right there in the ghetto, sent from above to impart her womanly secrets of beauty to all, literally. Rosa Turner was an Avon representative. Yes, indeed. In the truest sense of that vocation. She was the perfect palette, breathtaking, with smooth cinnamon skin and auburn hair with a dainty spray of freckles on her high cheekbones. Rosa's stark beauty was the kind you see in ghettos all over the world and wish that Scavullo or Demarchier or Van der Zee could be there to capture in a photographic essay. That was Rosa Turner. What was the fragrance that surrounded her at all times? This was a question I pondered that first night as I settled in for the night. The answer came a few days later. Rosa smelled like fresh air, pure, wholesome, feminine. Her bedroom was a shrine to womanly beauty products, lotions, creams, balms, scented emollients, especially concocted for elbows and feet, hair shampoos, conditioners, treatments, sprays and splashes, colognes, perfume, soap, makeup. She wasn't the Avon lady for nothing, and boy, could she move some Avon. There wasn't a person in the vicinity of Roxbury, including the patients and staff at Boston City Hospital, who didn't know Rosa Turner. Black, white, Hispanic, struggling, affluent women and men. I met individuals on the upper tiers of Boston's elite cultural circles who somehow knew Rosa. What was she doing in the chaos of the hood? Adding more by fostering me. Well, when you're writing, it is a good feeling because you're finally telling the story, and I saved a lot of my stories for a really long time. But it's also painful as well. So, and I had to visit a lot of my mothers. I have a whole page dedicated to my mothers in memorial regret. So it's painful. At the same time, it's fantastic. I feel very satisfied. You know, it's kind of liberating. I didn't realize that living my life, I was preparing myself to write this book. So it's been a long preparation. It didn't just happen once I got my advance to write the book. It's a long journey and a process. It's taken me a lifetime to put the stories together, to find the right people to bring it to fruition. I've grown.